Imagine a world where everything you've ever known is thrown upside down in a single moment, where the past you thought was lost forever comes crashing back into your life. In the heart of Heartland, an unexpected reunion shakes the very foundation of everything Amy has rebuilt. Borden, alive, real, and standing before her, returns in a way no one saw coming. But what happens when the person you thought was gone forever walks back into your world? The shock, the joy, the grief, and the overwhelming questions all collide in this heart-stopping moment. Season 19 kicks off with a bang, and Ty's return promises to change everything. Amy Fleming stands on the porch of the Heartland Ranch, the place she has painstakingly built for herself and her daughter, Lindy. It's a peaceful evening, but the calm is shattered when she hears the sound of footsteps approaching. Her heart skips a beat. Her breath catches in her throat. The familiar gait is unmistakable. She turns around, her eyes meeting a figure from her past, Ty Borden. The shock is immediate, her body frozen as she struggles to comprehend what she's seeing. Ty, the love of her life, the man she had lost and grieved for so many years, is standing there, alive and breathing before her. For a moment, nothing matters except the overwhelming surge of emotions that floods her. Is this real? Did she imagine it? Her heart races as years of pain, unanswered questions, and memories of the life they could have had together come rushing back. Ty's own reaction mirrors Amy's. He stands there, equally stunned and emotionally overwhelmed. The years he has spent away from Heartland, the life he thought he was living, suddenly feel like a distant dream. He has so much to explain, so many things left unsaid. But in this moment, words fail him. He knows how much he has hurt Amy, how much his disappearance has scarred her, but the weight of it all feels too much to bear. Amy's mind is a whirlwind of confusion. How could this happen? Where has he been all these years? Was he hiding in witness protection? Was he presumed dead due to a miscommunication? So many questions hang in the air, but none of them seem to matter in the face of this impossible reality. What matters now is that Ty is back, and everything they once had is suddenly within reach again. But at what cost? The reunion is not an easy one. As the shock slowly fades, the emotional complexity of the situation sets in. Amy struggles with the overwhelming mix of joy, disbelief, and anger. The life she has built without Ty has been full of challenges, but she's made peace with it. Ty's return brings back all the pain, the heartache, and the memories of the life they once dreamed of. She doesn't know how to process all these emotions, let alone how to let Ty back into her life after everything that has happened. The tension is palpable as they stand there, neither knowing what to say next. Their reunion is not a simple one. It's fraught with the weight of years lost, of love that never fully faded, and of the grief that Amy has carried all this time. The silence stretches between them, heavy with unspoken words. Ty tries to bridge the gap, explaining the circumstances of his disappearance, how he was forced into hiding, the reasons behind his absence, but his words don't feel like enough. How can they make up for all the lost time? The emotions are raw and unfiltered. Amy listens, but her mind races. How could she ever forgive him for abandoning her, for not being there when she needed him the most? But then she looks at him, really looks at him, and she sees the man she once loved, the man who shared her dreams and hopes for the future. Despite the pain, despite the years of unanswered questions, there's a part of her that still feels the same pull towards him. As they talk, they begin to unravel the complexities of their past. Amy admits to herself that her grief wasn't in vain. It was a testament to a love strong enough to withstand the test of time, distance, and even the idea of death itself. But Ty's return is not a perfect solution. It's a chance for healing, yes, but it's also a reminder of all the things they've both lost along the way. In the midst of this emotional chaos, a new chapter begins. Ty's return isn't just about reconnecting with Amy, it's about reconnecting with everything he's missed. The family he left behind, the life he had to walk away from, and in the eyes of Amy's daughter, Lindy, he sees a future that could still be theirs, a future he's desperate to rebuild. The first moment between Ty and Lindy is tender, filled with the quiet awe of a father meeting his daughter for the first time. There's so much love in that moment, but there's also a deep sense of loss. The years he's missed are impossible to ignore, but the hope of what might still be possible lingers in the air between them. The impact of Ty's return doesn't just reverberate through Amy's life, it shakes the entire Heartland family. Jack, who raised Ty as his own, is moved by the reunion but also filled with suspicion and caution. He's seen the pain Ty's absence caused, and he doesn't know if he can just forgive and forget. But as the days go on, Jack begins to soften, understanding that forgiveness is part of the healing process. His protective instincts over Amy and Lindy are strong, but his love for Ty runs deep. Georgie, too, is affected by Ty's return. To her, he was like an older brother, a figure of guidance. Now, with him back, she's forced to confront feelings she thought she had buried. The complexities of their past are not easily ignored, and as she faces Ty once again, she's left grappling with emotions that she never expected to resurface. The impact of Ty's return is felt everywhere, from the dinner table to the ranch, where old wounds begin to heal and new connections are formed. But amidst the healing, there's a constant undercurrent of tension. Ty's return doesn't erase the past. It simply offers a chance to rewrite the future, and no one knows what that future will look like yet. The story of Heartland, as it always has been, is about resilience, love, and redemption. And now, with Ty back in the picture, it's a story that's about to take a thrilling new turn. As the days pass, the reality of Ty's return begins to settle in, not just for Amy, but for everyone at Heartland. The ranch, once a place of healing and stability, now feels like a battleground for emotions. While Amy and Ty navigate their complex reunion, the rest of the family struggles to process the shocking return of a man they thought they'd lost forever. Each family member, from Jack to Georgie, has their own emotional journey to undertake, and none of them can escape the weight of Ty's absence. For Amy, the hardest part is finding a way to integrate Ty back into her life. She spent years rebuilding, not just her career and her ranch, but her own identity. She's learned to be strong on her own, to raise Lindy as a single mother, and to find peace with the loss of the love of her life. But now, faced with the return of Ty, she's forced to question everything she thought she knew about herself. What does it mean to have him back? Can they pick up where they left off, or is too much time and pain between them to ever truly heal? Their first conversations are tentative, filled with awkward pauses and half-finished sentences. There's so much to say, but the right words never come easily. Ty shares his story, piecing together the events that led to his disappearance. He talks about the circumstances that forced him to leave, how a series of events put him in a dangerous position, and how, for his own safety, he was taken away by people who promised to keep him hidden. His reasons for staying away are painful but understandable, and as Amy listens, she can feel a mixture of relief and anger rising within her. He wasn't gone by choice, he didn't abandon her on purpose, but the hurt of all those lost years still lingers. Amy's anger is palpable. How could he leave without a trace? How could he let her grieve him for so long? The questions hang heavy in the air, and every time she looks at Ty, they seem to grow larger, harder to ignore. But beneath the anger, there's a flicker of the old love she once had for him. The love that never truly faded, even in the face of all the heartbreak. Ty, on the other hand, is filled with regret. He never wanted to hurt Amy, never wanted to leave her with all the unanswered questions. He explains how, even though he was alive, he had no way of reaching out to her. He was cut off, isolated, and told to stay hidden. The life he thought he was living was nothing like the one he had left behind. He never stopped thinking about Amy, never stopped loving her, but the fear of bringing her into the dangerous situation he was in kept him silent. This revelation shakes Amy to her core. It doesn't erase the pain, but it begins to make sense of the years of silence. She's torn between understanding Ty's reasoning and the gut-wrenching pain of everything he missed. Years of their life together were stolen, and no explanation can ever fully make up for that. But she also realizes that she's not the same person she was when Ty left. She has grown, she's learned to survive without him, and she's built a life with Lindy that she's fiercely protective of. Meanwhile, the ranch itself becomes a reflection of the emotional landscape of everyone involved. Ty's return affects every corner of Heartland. Jack, the patriarch of the family, is deeply moved by the reunion. But he's also skeptical. He raised Ty as his own son, and losing him was one of the hardest things Jack has ever experienced. The emotional scars of that loss run deep, and while Jack is overjoyed to see Ty alive, he's cautious. He can't forget the pain Ty's disappearance caused, and he struggles to reconcile his joy with his need for answers. Jack's protective nature is evident, especially when it comes to Amy and Lindy. His love for them is undeniable, but so is his desire to keep them safe. He's afraid that Ty's return could open old wounds that would be too painful to heal. Jack knows that Amy is vulnerable, and he's not sure how much more she can handle. He feels a deep responsibility to protect his family, even if it means questioning Ty's motives. It's not an easy road for Jack. He wants to believe in the best of Ty, but the past hangs over them like a storm cloud. Jack's relationship with Ty is tested in ways that neither of them ever imagined. Can they rebuild the bond they once had? Or has too much time and pain come between them? For Jack, this is the central question he must answer, as Ty's return shakes him to his core. The journey ahead isn't just about forgiveness, it's about trust. Can Jack trust Ty again after everything that's happened? Georgie, too, is struggling with Ty's return. For her, Ty was always a brother figure, someone who guided her through the toughest times. His sudden reappearance forces her to confront feelings she thought she had long buried. The memories of their past are bittersweet, and the emotions that she had locked away for so long come rushing back. Her relationship with Ty was never simple. He was the older brother she never had, but also someone she deeply cared about. His disappearance was a wound that never fully healed, and now, facing him again, she's forced to navigate the complicated emotions of seeing him alive and well. Georgie's journey of reconciling her past with Ty is filled with subtlety and depth. She can't simply pick up where they left off, but she also can't ignore the bond they once shared. The reunion scene between Georgie and Ty is emotionally charged, filled with unspoken understanding and a quiet acknowledgement of the time they've lost. As the family comes to terms with Ty's return, they begin to realize that things will never be the same again. The wounds of the past may never fully heal, but there's a new chance for connection, for healing, and for hope. The Heartland family is forced to rebuild, not just the ranch, but the relationships that have been tested by time, distance, and loss. Ty's return is a catalyst for change, but the road ahead is uncertain. Will they be able to move forward, or will the shadows of the past be too heavy to overcome? Only time will tell. Ty's return to Heartland brings with it a whirlwind of emotions, not only for Amy, but for everyone who has been affected by his disappearance. The family is in the midst of processing his return, but for Ty, this is more than just a reunion. This is his chance for redemption, a chance to rebuild everything he lost when he was forced to leave. But the weight of his absence is more than just a burden on his relationships. It is a constant reminder of the life he once had and the years he can never get back. His struggle to find a place within the family, to reconcile the man he is now with the boy he once was, becomes one of the central conflicts of the season. At the heart of Ty's return is his need to make amends. He knows that he can never undo the hurt he caused, but he wants to try. He wants to prove to Amy, to Jack, to Georgie, and even to himself that he is worthy of being part of their lives again. Ty's first steps toward redemption are slow and tentative. There's no grand gesture, no instant forgiveness. Instead, there's a quiet determination in his actions, in the way he tries to show up for Amy and Lindy, in the way he listens more than he speaks, giving space for the healing to begin. He knows that actions speak louder than words, and after so many years of silence, it's time for him to show, not just tell, that he is committed to being part of the family again. For Amy, this process is incredibly difficult. As much as she wants to believe in the man standing before her, she can't ignore the pain of the past. She has learned to navigate life without him, to keep her heart guarded and her focus on her daughter, her work, and the healing that comes from her connection with the land and the horses. The love she once shared with Ty hasn't gone away, but the years of unanswered questions, of being forced to move forward without him, have created deep scars. Ty's attempts to show his remorse, whether it's small, meaningful gestures, or just being present in the everyday moments, are not easily accepted. Amy wants to trust him, but part of her is afraid that if she opens her heart again, she'll be hurt once more. Ty feels this tension, and it only adds to his inner turmoil. His desire to be a good father to Lindy, to make up for the years he lost with her, drives him forward, but he also knows that Amy's pain is more complicated than just the loss of him. She has been through so much on her own, and he can't simply erase that. He is desperate to reconnect with her, but more than that, he needs to show her that he is the man he always promised to be, the man she believed in, the man she loved. But every time Amy pulls away, he feels like a failure. He struggles with feelings of guilt, wondering if he'll ever be able to make up for what he took from her. The emotional distance between them is a constant reminder that Ty's journey back to redemption will not be easy or straightforward. He is not the same man who left, but he is still haunted by his past. His feelings of guilt extend beyond Amy. They reach into his relationship with Jack. The man who raised him, the father figure who guided him through life, is now a man filled with conflicting emotions. Jack is overjoyed that Ty is back, but he can't help but wonder why it took so long for him to return. The years Ty was away were painful, and Jack isn't sure how to let go of the distrust that lingers in his heart. Jack's protective instincts are strong, and he doesn't want to see Amy and Lindy hurt again. While he may be able to forgive Ty for leaving, he isn't so sure he can forgive the years of silence. Jack watches Ty closely, trying to gauge whether the young man before him is truly worthy of the second chance he's been given. Ty feels Jack's judgment, and it cuts deeper than he wants to admit. For so long, Jack was his rock, the one person who always believed in him. Now, with so much time lost, Ty isn't sure how to bridge the gap between them. For Ty, the hardest part of his return is coming to terms with his own guilt. He knows that he let so many people down, and the weight of that responsibility is something he struggles to carry. He wants to prove himself, but he's unsure where to start. Every time he tries to reach out to Amy, he feels her pull away, and the silence between them becomes a reminder of everything he's done wrong. It's a battle of patience and humility for Ty. He's trying to rebuild, but he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to rebuild the trust that was broken. Georgie, too, is struggling with her own feelings about Ty's return. She's glad to see him, of course, but the reunion brings back complicated memories of the past. For Georgie, Ty was more than just a family member. He was a mentor, a guide, a figure who helped shape her into the person she is today. Now, seeing him again after so many years, she's forced to confront all the emotions she's tried to suppress. Ty's absence left a hole in her heart, and his return is a reminder of the things she never fully dealt with. Her relationship with Ty isn't as easy as it once was. She's older now, and the complexities of their past are impossible to ignore. There's a part of Georgie that wants to pick up right where they left off, to go back to the way things were before Ty disappeared. But there's another part of her that feels conflicted. Part of her is still angry, still hurt by his sudden absence. And part of her is unsure if she can forgive him for all that time they lost. For Georgie, the reunion with Ty is a bittersweet one. There's joy in seeing him again, but there's also pain. Ty, for his part, recognizes that he has a lot of work to do in rebuilding his relationships with everyone in the family. He's not just trying to repair his bond with Amy, he's trying to heal the fractures that have appeared between him and Jack, him and Georgie, and even the people on the ranch who have been affected by his absence. But for Ty, this journey isn't just about earning forgiveness. It's about coming to terms with his own mistakes, accepting the consequences of his actions, and finding a way to move forward, no matter how long it takes. Every step Ty takes toward redemption is filled with uncertainty. But the one thing he knows is that he's not going anywhere. He's not leaving this time. Ty is back, and no matter how hard the road may be, he's determined to make it right, starting with the family he once walked away from. Ty's return is not just a pivotal moment for Amy and the immediate family, it has a profound impact on everyone who calls Heartland home. The ranch, once a place of healing and stability, becomes the center of a whirlwind of emotions, where past wounds are reopened and the prospect of rebuilding relationships is on the horizon. As Ty struggles to find his place again, the ripple effects of his reappearance spread throughout the entire Heartland family, challenging old dynamics and testing the strength of bonds that have been forged over the years. Jack, who has always been the bedrock of the family, stands as a protective figure for both Amy and Lindy. His reaction to Ty's return is a mix of joy and wariness, the result of years of grief and the pain of losing someone he considered a son. Jack has always prided himself on being a father figure to Ty, guiding him through the challenges of growing up and helping him find his way in life. But now, the tables have turned. Jack, who once held the reins, now finds himself in a position of vulnerability. Ty's return forces Jack to confront emotions he thought he had buried long ago. The feelings of betrayal, of being left behind, and of the years lost to silence. In many ways, Jack feels like he has to relearn how to relate to Ty. The father-son dynamic that once felt so natural now seems strained and uncertain. Jack's protective instincts are as sharp as ever, especially when it comes to Amy and Lindy. But his deeper fear is the possibility of losing Ty again. He spent years mourning Ty's loss, and now, with him standing before him, Jack is unsure whether he can open his heart to Ty once more. The road to forgiveness is rocky, and for Jack, it's a path he's not sure he's ready to walk. But his love for Ty runs deep, and as much as he may want to guard himself from further pain, he knows that healing can only come when the family, as a whole, begins to work through their shared trauma. Georgie's journey with Ty is no less complicated. As a young woman who has experienced her own emotional growth over the years, Georgie is caught between the joy of seeing Ty again and the unresolved feelings of abandonment. Ty was a figure of mentorship for Georgie, someone who provided support and guidance during difficult times. Now, with him back, she's forced to reconcile her childhood memories of him with the adult version of herself. Georgie's pain is different from Amy's. She hasn't experienced the same kind of loss, but she does feel the sting of his absence. She had looked up to Ty as a brother, someone who was always there for her when she needed advice or help. His return is filled with confusion. Can she truly trust him again? Or is he simply going to bring more heartache? As Georgie navigates her own emotional journey, she is also forced to confront the idea that life isn't always as simple as she once believed. Ty's return challenges her assumptions about family, loyalty, and the complicated nature of relationships. She must decide whether she's ready to forgive, whether she's ready to let go of the hurt that has been festering for so long. While Amy, Jack, and Georgie experience their own emotional struggles, the rest of the Heartland family begins to feel the shift as well. The ranch, which has always been a safe haven, now becomes a place where the past and present collide. The horses, the land, the everyday work of the ranch all become metaphors for the healing process. Each horse that is worked with, each new challenge that arises on the ranch, becomes symbolic of the larger journey the family is undertaking. Ty's return isn't just about him, it's about the entire family learning to trust, to forgive, and to rebuild from the ground up. Ty is acutely aware of the changes that have taken place at Heartland during his absence. Not only has the family grown emotionally, but the ranch itself has undergone its own transformation. Amy has become an even stronger and more confident figure, leading the ranch with a quiet strength that wasn't there when Ty first left. He can see how much she's grown, both as a person and as a mother to Lindy. This realization fills him with pride, but also with sorrow, as he realizes that there are so many moments he missed. He sees the beautiful, thriving ranch that Amy has built on her own, and he wonders if there's still a place for him in it.